What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fairway to Heaven, only on the All About the Birds Network. I am Phil Stiefel, joined as always by Jason Sullivan. Got a special guest this week. It's not Jonathan Coachman like we had a couple weeks ago. You know, we had to take a step down or a step up, depending on how you look at it. We got Chad Eckert from the Fantasy Golf Pod team, the Preferred Line. I keep wanting to say Painted Line, another podcast group. The Preferred Line, and like I said, the Fantasy Golf Pod. So welcome to the show. Welcome to your first appearance on the All About the Birds Network and Fairway to Heaven.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here. I'm glad to be here. I like that little guitar at the end. We do a guitar intro on the Fantasy Golf Pod. So when I saw that, I was like about to do a little break out into this little air guitar action. But yes, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. I got a beer. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, hey, we all have our beers ready to go. That is a Tuesday night thing we have to do on this show. I don't have any cans, so I can't make the sound effects. Anybody watching, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you click share, and you're following us, turn on your notifications on Facebook as always. Twitter, make sure you're hitting that retweet button for us. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate all the support as we go here on this journey. This week, we got the Valspar Championship, guys. We're not even going to recap last week's event like we normally do because nobody cares about last week. Although I will be honest, for a bettor like me, last week and matchup betting was so much fun. And I hit on 8 of my last 10 matchup bets over the weekend, and I absolutely love that aspect of it. But the tournament itself was a dud in my opinion. So let's get right into Valspar, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah, you agree with me on that, Jason? All right, so first thing we always do, Chad, as the guest on the show, I'm going to ask you first, the Valspar Championship. What are your feelings on the tournament, the course, key stats that people are looking at when they're building their fantasy lineups and stuff like that? Anything that's really, really important that we should all pay attention to?
Well, okay, so typically on the usual week, it's tee to green or it's approach and how they're doing in that. And if they putted too well the week before or they putted poorly the week before, you look at those kind of things in general. Typically when I'm firing up a model, if I do that, I'd use about 12 rounds. I'm not a far back guy. I'm more a recent form guy. I just typically do look at whatever my gut tells me to do. I drink a couple beers and I think about it. And then I'm like, what am I going to do here? But, it's the Valspar. It's this time of year. This is what I was talking to Joe Idoni about. I do that live Mondays. It was, Masters, you get all the guys that are ready and going for that. And that's like basically the Super Bowl of the season. And then it's kind of a letdown because you go into the match play, which is goofy. And do you really care? Did that guy get lucky against you? You had 10 birdies, but he had 11. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. That doesn't really matter. And then you go into a heritage, and then you have the Zurich. So it's kind of like, whoa, do we really care about the stats as much? So then maybe you go course history, and I'm a course history guy. And then you look at Paul Casey, won back-to-back years. Not last year, but 2 years prior because it wasn't around last year with COVID. So and then you look at whatever, it's the time of year and there's different grass types and I'm a grass guy. So then is it Bermuda? Do you care about a Bermuda guy? And so you kind of mix all of that together into your brain and then you spew and you start clicking.
Yeah. That's a better strategy than I have. I had to cut it down. I used to have all these papers of notes for a show.
Yeah, burn that
anymore. I got one piece of paper. That's all I got for this show because too much information. It just clogs the mind. Jason, what are your thoughts?
But in reality, like if you're really serious about it, you do want to look at guys that can find the right side of the fairway finders, and you also do want experience. You see the same guys kind of doing well here over and over again, and then you kind of look at, well, what is Paul Casey good at? Why did Paul Casey win this thing 2 times in a row? He is known for being really straight, driving distance, off the tee, great guy with his driver, but also can hit good iron play. Not the greatest putter ever, so maybe it doesn't matter if they're a great putter. You just got to hit that right side of the fairway, get the angle in. Can you do that? Can you fairway find so you have that fairway iron in? I don't know. That's my thought. What do you guys think?
Jason?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the biggest things this week is driving accuracy. Like you said, the fairways, the farther you drive the ball, the more narrow the fairways get here. So you're going to want to hit the fairways. You're going to be in big trouble in trees if you don't hit the fairways. So, like you said, long iron play I think is huge this week. Around green play is huge this week. Course history matters, I think, a lot. This is a weird course. It's a tough course, obviously, so it matters. And also, I think recent form matters a lot too. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of both this week because I feel like you're not going to get right at this course. This is a tough course. So if you come in slumping, you're going to continue to slump. I think. So you're going to want to find some guys that are doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's a super tough course, and that's the one thing I kept reading everywhere I was reading before the show is that, I mean, it consistently ranks as one of the toughest courses on tour, and I find it really, weird placement. You're getting ready for the PGA, you just finished the Masters. You wouldn't think that one of the toughest courses that ranks right up there with the major courses is smack dab in between two major events like that. So that kind of, is what it is. I love personally the quirky stats. I always try to find some weird stat, not weird stat, but thing that makes a difference. So like this week, the last 7 winners of this event have had at least one top 10 finish the year they won the event. So,
Sure.
I always, there's always stats like that out there. So that's something to take into account.
Who do you use for those stats? Where do you get that stuff?
I Google search the tournament name and then literally read like as many articles that pop up on my page.
Got it.
So I don't even know.
Very sophisticated.
Yeah, I'm not really sophisticated. I watch as many podcasts or listen to as many podcasts as I can and then read as many articles as I can in a one-day window because really that's all you have. You got Monday and Tuesday to prepare, really. Wednesday's too late because everybody's already getting their lineups in and all. So there's not really a whole hell of a lot of time to prepare for an event.
That sounded like a Justin Ray golf stat to me. And you guys follow him, Justin Ray? He's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then there's also the PGA Tour.
From him. Maybe I did. I don't know.
Yeah. And then I will plug this. The PGA Tour has like its own headquarter media website. So if you type in Google media headquarter HQ, it's something like PGA Tour media HQ. You can DM me and I'll tell you about it. But yes, this is a website that has shot link data so that you can get kind of some of that stuff that you hear these announcers say. And you could be like, haha, I already read that, like on Monday.
I can say sometimes everybody else said it and sound like I'm the smart one.
So yeah, PGA Tour headquarters, Google Media, something like that.
So what I'm gathering is you're not a big stat guy. You're more so just the feel and the gut feel and recent form and course history and
So I've been doing the podcast now, the Fantasy Golf Pod, for 3 or 4 seasons or something like that. So this, we went with the beginning of time. We were like, these dudes, they just are obsessed with stats. What the fuck? We're having a little bit of FOMO for Fantasy National, and we're like, no, we don't need it. We don't want it. So we did our whole thing for like a whole year of just the gut model, and then we're like, but everybody says these stats and all this stuff. So then we got partnered with the fantasynational.com and we went to Moose directly and said, we want access to your website, give it to us and we'll tell everybody how great it is. So then we built models. We went off on Modelville, just, stats and just knee deep in this stuff for a whole year, maybe even a year and a half, 2 years. And we're like, we're not having any fun because we expect things from these stats that we're seeing. And then we're making these models and they're spitting out names, but these names are not answers. In fact, it's tilting me because I thought this guy, because, he had been terrible. And being terrible is sometimes an advantage in DFS because nobody wants them. Their stats aren't good. So then nobody's clicking them. You got low ownership, but you have this gut feeling on this guy, but I can't take him because, Fantasy National is telling me not to take him. My model says he's the worst. So then you start losing focus on trying to game theory some stuff and maybe having fun too, because we all know that this is gambling. Like you are entering a casino floor when you open the app on DraftKings, any sport, specifically and especially golf. So now there are other sports where like NFL is a consistent field. It's consistent everything. Whereas in statistics in golf, it's not so consistent in terms of like the guy could get a lucky break in the rough and his ball's up in the rough. And the other guy has a shitty break and it's down in the rough. But his percentage from that area in the rough, it's going to be affected. Guys out of the tournament, maybe he doesn't care anymore. He's not trying as hard versus guys grinding. Maybe the dude is grinding and he wants to go for the win versus the top 5. So he makes a decision that is going to affect his statistics for months and months and affect your decision-making on this process. But dude was in contention going for the win. I see this in Cameron Davis sometimes where I'm like, well, his stats are bad. Why? But he was in, but he tried. He goes for the eagle, but he went in the water, or whatever. So then you got stats with all this different stuff, grass type, wind type. I mean, if there was the same course and the same field and the same things and the number of minutes and all this stuff was the same, yes, you could take the stats, you could make a model, and you could get predictions that are pretty accurate. But in golf, I have learned over the last couple of years, it's not always as easy as it seems. So that's
what's funny too is I feel like Patrick Reed is the perfect example of what you just said. Patrick Reed could win any given week. He could win this week, but he's not a stats darling, quote unquote. Like he could come out of nowhere and win, and it seems like what happens. It happened at the Masters a few years ago, and it's just like any given week he's one of the top players, but he's never going to line up in the stat model. He's never going to be number 1 or number 2 in the stat model, which is kind of crazy.
Well, and I think that dives into that's a great segue because when we start breaking down the lineups, there's 5 guys costing on DraftKings $10K or above. Patrick Reed, I love Patrick Reed this week because of that. Because Patrick Reed, he plays the tough courses much better because he's that grinder and all. You don't need the stats. When there's going to be a tournament where the winner's going to shoot 22 under or 23 under, that's not the week to really focus on Patrick Reed. A week like this when it's going to be tough. That's the kind of week where I feel, Jason knows I'm a Patrick Reed guy. I love There's 2 golfers I always play, Patrick Reed and Bryson DeChambeau. So they're my 2 main guys on DraftKings. I love Patrick Reed. I know he gets a lot of crap and a lot of people hate Patrick Reed, but the guy wins tournaments when they're tough.
I have a special relationship with Patrick Reed as well. I don't know if you're familiar with that whole
I'm not familiar with that. Explain.
Oh, well, first of all, I have his autograph with he and his wife.
That's fantastic.
So
I'll give you $10 for that.
Yesterday.
10? I think it's on eBay for like $1,500 or something. But
holy crap.
It's one of one. Well,
Right.
I don't think you can find another Justine Reed autograph. The truth is that I've been a fan of his for a long time. I've been a defender of his. And actually, the Fantasy Golf Pod YouTube page has gone viral with Patrick Reed a bunch of times. So we're friends with him because he provides us with those moments. It's great. So
I'm glad we're talking here. This is making my
yes.
day.
Now,
I'm going to get a message from Patrick Reed someday now,
Well, okay.
I'm just kidding.
The truth is that I was friends with him, good with him. We're good on the internet. He's quick to block. I don't know if you're familiar with the Twitter things, but he's boom, blocked you. You're done. You say anything bad, you even like a tweet that's kind of bad about it, boom, block. So I'm very careful about my Twitter because I don't want to get blocked by Patrick Reed. I'm fans with him.
Absolutely.
So I'm cautiously just tiptoeing around the internet. And then all of a sudden, one day, I get this autograph and I go to Twitter to tweet about it and I can't tag him. I'm like, what the hell? And I was blocked. For some reason, he had blocked me. So I was crying. And I went to my followers and I said, what the hell? I have the inventor of APPR. I love it. Always play Patrick Reed. I love Patrick Reed. I just bought this autograph of him and his wife. Like, who does that? I did. And then so you're blocking me. You're blocking your fans. This is terrible PR. And then my co-host, Quagnus, Fantasy Golf Pod, Eric Martin's just piling on. He's tweeting at Patrick Reed directly. Why would you block this guy? Other people are piling on. Unblocked, followed. Follows me.
Accomplished.
Boom, follows me. Wait, hold on. Fast forward now. I don't know. He's cheating again somewhere. So he's cheating. Now, he's a cheater. But I wrote on the YouTube where it's the cheating incident of the Hero Challenge, and he cheats and he moves the sand. I wrote allegedly on the YouTube page because I'm nice to Patrick Reed because I was a fan of his, and I'm even making that as a case. Like, I'm writing allegedly. He's going around cheating again. That was the beginning of the season. I don't remember what tournament it was that was cheating again. I think he won cheating. This is like in February. Either way, I'm on the internet defending him. I'm going around. I'm loving this. This is great content. All of a sudden, I can't find him. He's not on my Twitter anymore. He unfollowed me and he re-blocked me. So then I go I'm like, what?
Well, I just had to go double check. I had to make sure I did not get blocked by him. I've never.
Yeah, you're not blocked yet.
But while you're talking, I am not blocked. So that's
be careful. Okay, we should probably stop talking about this because use GolfX, Justine Reed's the burner will get us. But anyway, so now I'm mad. I'm like, wait, I'm blocked, dude. We were friends, and I'm out here defending you. Fuck you. It's over. We're done. I'm done defending you. I'll delete it allegedly right out of that YouTube thing. Boom. completely cheated. And now I don't even care. I'm just going around saying he's cheating. He does. He cheats, of course. So it's great. I made a video where I had my son say he's a cheater, and he's 4 years old. So it was great. So we're brainwashing 4-year-olds.
You get I don't care anymore. Get Jackson to say it too. Get
I saw you.
Son and your son to do it together. You know?
Yes, it's like that's it's been a long road, but I might actually be putting a house on Patrick Reed this week. I do a house bet, which because I'm a realtor, Edina Realty on Twitter. I work for Edina Realty. It's a Midwest company. You out there in the East Coast probably know my accent over here in the Midwest here in Minnesota. I'm up here in the North, but yes. Wednesday afternoons, I tweet out who I'm putting all my money on. $15 or like $10. Like it's not a lot of money, but
that's more than me.
The house because I found this little icon on Twitter. Either way, might be on Patrick Reed. We'll see.
Hey, I'm a Midwest guy too. Michigan.
Oh, cool. Okay, good. Eagles. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't do either.
At change time.
Just kidding. Well, that's because no, I'm a Vikings fan. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry for that tangent.
It's great. I love it. Hey, you say you might put the house on Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed's my number one play. I'm playing him on DraftKings. Okay. I'm putting my bet on Patrick Reed this week. I've already hit on him this year. I already bet him when he won. What was it? Second week of doing the show is when he hit. Yeah, I think it was the second week we did this show. Is when
he wins all the time.
I mean, I that was my first prediction live on the air that came true in only the second week of doing the show. So I was
I bet it feels good. That's why you love him too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My $1 bet really paid off.
Don't say $1. Nobody needs to know. The truth is, though, I might actually go with the other man that's in this background here. The other autograph I own. It's Sung Jae Im. Look at the baby boy. Look at how cute he is with his little pudgy belly too.
Look at that signature.
But yes, I don't know. This is probably forged.
Hey, Sung Jae Im, when he's playing in Florida, you play him.
Come on, right? Exactly. Bermuda, let's go. What are we doing here?
There's no doubt that he's somebody you play every time you're in Florida.
Hey, did you guys see that stat about Sanjay? Is that over the last 6 years, he's gained the most strokes total in Florida?
Yeah, of course he has.
Yeah,
you play in Florida.
Hey, well, that's because he's playing every goddamn tournament. There's possibly it's out there. So. But I see what I see, and I like what I see, and I think that there's a little under the radar with him. And what is he, $9,100? So like that might, So I mean, that's easily you go Patrick Reed, Sung Jae Im, boom, and then I like Neiman too. So you could try that as your super stack to start. And so that's kind of where I've been starting some of my lineups.
Three fantastic names right there because they're three. If I look at my list of names that I might bet on. They're all three are on my bet list right there.
So okay, give me all the credit when those guys win. You're gonna be like,
I'd already written those names down before you came on the air. Here.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
Bad for the brand, bro.
It was only because I told you.
So there's an interesting thing here in the top 10K and above, and it's the first time all year that Dustin Johnson is not the most expensive player. He's the second most expensive player. He's obviously struggled. Justin Thomas is 1. He's 2. Is there any way that Dustin Johnson can figure it out you say you like recency, so you're going to say Dustin Johnson is not a play this week, but he's going to be super low owned this week probably too because people are going to fade the hell out of him.
Yeah. I just don't feel like this is the type of course ultimately. Like I feel like if the winning score or this was a 3M Open, the thing up in Detroit, Rocket Mortgage, if that was where he was coming in poor form and he could just go out there and just fucking say whatever, throw it around, then maybe so. But it's sort of a plotter, sort of a be accurate and smart and don't fuck up in the snake pit and lose 6 strokes there in 2 rounds. So, and like 11-2 or whatever, it's just too rich for my blood. Now, I typically fade the top priced player each week. That's kind of just, it makes it easy. So if you have these principles where you're saying, I'm not doing that, then you just eliminate that decision each week where otherwise you're thinking like, should I pay up? Do I pay up? So I have learned that over the course of 52 tournaments a year, you get burnt maybe once, 3, 6, 5 times out of 54, 6 times max. And even the top price guy winning could actually not end up screwing you too bad, where you could end up winning your money back. So you may miss it once or 6 times a year or whatever that could be, but that I don't know. That's what I do. So I won't be. I like JT as well, but I won't be using either of the 11K guys.
Okay. Jason, anything to add to this 10K range here that you'd like to?
Yeah, that was actually going to be my first thing that I brought up was for how loaded the lower 10K and the 9K are this week. It's almost like, do you even want to go up that high? That was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you. What you thought this week, but you answered it already. It just seems like for the ideal build, it's probably going to be a more balanced build this week. And the 9K, like you said, is loaded, and there's a lot of guys that I want to play in the 9K, so you almost can't play those 11K guys this week.
Yeah. So, and then you think like, let me do a more balanced sort of structured build where you think like, I'll take the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7. So I don't think you should do that either. Sometimes but yeah, maybe you do that. But at the same time, I think it's better to spray a couple of the names down there so you could get two of the top elite names, because I do feel like the guys at the top will probably do the best. Now, does that mean take a $6,200 guy? No, but that maybe means so I don't know. Should we pepper the 8K range? I usually like to pepper the 8K range, and especially when it's an event where it's low scoring total, but I don't know if that'll matter really ultimately. So what we'll decide that in a second. But
see, I think too, when I say balance, I almost think balanced in a way, but almost like use 2, maybe even 3 9K guys to start my lineup, and not really make it a standard.
Okay, yes, I like that, like a hybrid stars and scrubs.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Because I don't know how you guys play, but I just typically do 20 lineups in the short game for $1 a lineup. I'm not going heavy in. I'm not going one lineup guy. I can't do that. I can't die in a hill. I know this is roulette. Do you guys go to a casino and you play roulette?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Number 8.
Yeah, it's so fun, right?
All the time.
So you don't go there and you're like, I know. I see the board and I know what'll happen next. It's like, you fucking idiot. You don't know anything. First of all. Second of all, you statistically don't know anything. So that's true. But yeah, you want to spread it around. You want to get a couple lineups. You want to do little things here and there. You want to play your names over and over and over and over and over. You go to the roulette table. You're playing red 23 if you're a Jordan fan, blah, blah, blah. Black 8 if you're a Kobe fan. Or you got these things going in your head or whatever, your birthdays or whatever. You're just doing that over and over again on the DraftKings golfer board. Just play the same guys over and over. Yeah, course fit here and there and grass type and motivations and coming in, recent form, hot form, whatever. That can change how many shares you use in a typical week or a guy. But dude, the worst thing would be and it happens at the casino where you come into the roulette wheel and you're like, oh, the board over here, it says things, because it's Fantasy Nationals models are showing me. And then red 23 hits, black 8 hits, and you're like, tilt. And you just have this incredible tilt. So that's not fun. And then you don't want to play anymore. And I'm never going back to the casino. And it's like, what? No. Or you play one lineup for $100 million and the dude withdraws because that could happen. And then you're like, why do we do this?
That's why Matthew Wolf is on the dead to me. We have a thing. Right. I have a dead to me list. Matthew Wolf is on my dead to me list 100% because I think every time he's withdrawn, I've had him in my lineup. So done.
So then play for $1 and you won't ever think those thoughts and you won't hate Matt Wolf because he'll never ruin YouTube.
I think it was a quarter lineup and I still hate him.
Oh, well then, yeah, that's called tilt. You don't want to have that, so do something different. Now, that's why you play 20 lineups. And again, I have strategy videos on the YouTube channel, the Fantasy Golf Pod YouTube page. There's a playlist. I made it. I'm not a YouTube star by any means, but I did a playlist on there. Strategy. It's got a thing on there, a couple of things that'll help you. So you can watch me make 20 lineups and how I build in 20 lineups. So you do kind of have to have a strategy for that. Now, my co-host on the Fantasy Golf Pod, his strategy is to spray and just click. I'm like, how many times did you use that guy? He's like, that's my only lineup with him. I'm like, really? That's so lucky. That's too much luck to me. So there's part of making 20 lineups that you could kind of reduce your luck, push it more towards probabilities, its chances and skills. But again, he wins just as much as I win necessarily because again, roulette. So just have fun.
I love it. Some really great points you're bringing up. Real quick, before we start talking about the 9 and 8K range, Paul Casey. I've read everywhere. I mean, he's 2-time defending champ. They didn't have it like you said last year. I say you kind of stay away from him because so many people are going to be jumping on him this week.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Paul Casey this week?
Where do you get ownership projections from? Do you use ownership?
I don't get them. I just read people.
Oh my gosh! Well, you need to
Jason,
use
though,
the
has
promo code
projections.
FantasyGolfPod at fansharesports.com, and you need to get a subscription to that website. Hey,
There you go.
sponsor. But no, at the same time, that I don't know. Let's look at these things. I can look really quick just to see.
I've read in multiple sites that Paul Casey's not a good play this week based off of everything.
Okay. Well, regardless of if people are clicking on him or not, like coming into this week, he is, or whatever, this tournament this year, he is playing better than he had in tournaments that he had in past that he won. So like he was bad coming in last 2019 or 2018 compared to now, where he has won on the Euro Tour. He is having a good time doing things. Where is he in projected ownership? 15%. So I mean, yeah, he's in the red in terms of like he's close to the top of the range, but at the same time, you do want to pick 10K guys. So you got to maybe use the guy that's two-time champion, course history, recent form a little bit too. And then he's the lowest priced guy in the 10K range and above. Sign me up. It's 15%. Now, the projections could be wrong. You'll have to tune in. I'll go live Wednesday mornings. I do that every Wednesday morning on the Fantasy Golf Pod YouTube page. I go live. I do the projected ownership presented by fansharesports.com, and you can watch me talk about who's most owned. And I'll check. But I don't know if he'll be the most owned. Kokrak and Connors, the Canadians. Oh, my God. They're the most. Lord have mercy.
So you know what's funny about that stat that's at the bottom? He's right. That it's only happened like 6 times, something like that. One of them was Matt Every, for what it's worth. So
yeah, I played him when he was defending one of those titles.
To win, I don't know. I mean, he could win for sure. Like I doubt it. Like statistically, it's an anomaly that he might win. But $10,000, you could be your first guy in, and it could save you some money off the JT and DJs of the world, and you could have just as good of a win probability. We're saying he will probably most likely make the cut, probably compete for the top 25 or whatever, possibly potentially top 10, $10,000. Like this is a secure, now safe again. You're playing roulette. So when you go to casino, do you ever say to yourself, this is a good bet, red, this is a good bet, this is safe. Safe. So that's be careful with that. But at the same time, I don't know, safe at 10K. We'll see. So
I'm
let's do it.
I almost feel like for DFS, it's a good play. For a bet, I don't know if I'd go as far to bet him to win, but you know, a top 10 or a DFS play, I feel like it's a good play.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, you'd bet it because it's 20 in this field. Like that's, you just kind of bet it because of the number. Now that's kind of what we've been doing, because what you do when you bet is you have a set number of dollars and you try to win basically your money back. If you're betting 6 or 7 or 10 weeks in a row every week or whatever, you know, depending on if you lose every week for 6 weeks, you just want your money back. And so he's one of those guys that kind of fits the narrative. Same with Patrick Reed, where you're just like, okay, these are blind bets, just kind of throw them in there. He might be in contention on Sunday, which will allow you to then hedge that bet, use some money live or use some money on Friday, Saturday night to say, these guys are lower odds, but in contention too. Maybe I can get money and hedge myself out of here and get out of there with an even week.
That's I love that the hedge. I do that every single week. You know,
I think you need to if you want to survive in advance. Like
we're not doing this. I mean,
one time and then we're getting out of it.
Everybody wants to hit $1 million or whatever, but so few people do it. Yeah, you just want to keep even, hope to make a few bucks just to make it worth it, and just having a sweat on Sunday for something. It's great. Because
or just throwing the money on the dude that's runner up or next to the guy that you already like, having the money on him. Then you're like, did I make a mistake with that money, or is that a good money? Did I, and then you're like, then you think about that more than you would just be like, I don't even care how this guy does. So like it gives you, you're buying entertainment, people.
And that right there is why golf is the best DFS and gambling sport there is.
Cheers. Let's go to the 8K range. Are we done? Where are we going here? 9K range?
That's some weak beer right there you're drinking.
Well, I start with the Furious. You guys listen to me. Okay. I'm a little already energetic and drunk, but IPA Furious. This is a Minnesota beer, and then I switched to my beer water.
Okay, beer water. I got it.
Oh, the Bell Stewart. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we're going Corona because it's almost summertime. I'm trying to prep myself for Florida, so Corona it is.
Corona? Jesus. They sell that still? They didn't go out of business?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. At least it's not Coors Light, okay? We're gonna have to do a beer podcast one day.
We should.
Just have a row of can of beers and taste.
Yeah, Josh Bennett would come on. He loves to make golden lights. Oh,
just all of us get hammered.
Yeah.
Beer
I
tasting.
do that in pretty much every podcast I do. I did 3 last night, and I was drunk for all 3 of them. So
yeah, if you don't, what are you doing with your life?
I know exactly. All right, so I'll let Jason. You can jump into this 9K range if you want. Anything you want to ask about or talk about here?
Yeah, who do we need to discuss? Sung Jae?
He's my pick to win.
Who?
Hatton.
Oh yeah, Hatton actually was my pick to win.
Yeah, definitely click Hatton.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think with the 9K range, I feel like this is the chalk range. It's just a matter of who you want to pick. I agree with you. Sun J.M. is definitely going to be one of my guys. And I think he might be a little bit of lower owned than somebody like Corey Connors. So I like that this week. I just have a feeling about Scotty Scheffler. He is the best around the green player in the field over the last 24 rounds. So I like that a lot this week. Never played this event before, but his form is really good. So I think I'm going to roll with a lot of Scotty Scheffler this week.
Dude, I think you might be right about this chalk forming in the 9K range, and we'll have to discuss it tomorrow morning live on the internet on the Fantasy Golf Pod YouTube page. But at the same time, the 8K range doesn't look as juicy as wanted. There's reason to want Corey Connors, but I think he might end up being the chalk of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's $9,600.
I see 20% ownership. That's
yeah. Do you care about that? Do you guys do stuff where you're like, nope, 20%, I can't do it?
If I think the person's going to win, I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If I think the guy's going to finish in the top 5, I don't worry about it. If I'm on the fence about a guy, then I worry about it.
Okay,
or in a range, so Corey Connors is going to have probably super high ownership. Someone I think they can have the same success like Sung J.M., who's probably going to be a tick below Corey Connors on ownership, then I might, go one way versus the other. But for the most part, I'm not overly concerned about ownership.
It's funny with ownership too. I feel like you talk yourself into a certain narrative. Like if you don't want to play him, you're like, oh, he's 20% owned. And then if you do want to play him, you're like, that's 20%. That's only 2 out of 10. So,
right. Or what happens is like the projections come out that Corey Connors is going to be the chalk of the week. Nobody wants him. And then what happens is when you go open it up, you're like, Im is 21 and Connors is 18. Yeah. What the fuck did I switch off? God damn it. And you get all pissed. This happens every week. So it's like nobody knows anything. Like if you like Corey Connors, take Corey Connors. So or you just do the thing where you could play him in the amount of lineups that equal the field or whatever that strategy is, where if I'm playing 20 lineups and they project him at 20%, then I need him in at least 4 lineups of my 20. And then I'm like at least covering myself with the field where I have the same number of shares as the field. Now, I don't know why or how this was a line of thinking in the industry for the longest time, but that just seems to be logical that like you just want to match the field. So I'm not a math guy again, obviously. So the math guys are like, God, that's what you do. God. And they're like at home mad with their spreadsheets. But I'm, I don't know, but you could do that where it's not like you're like all in on Corey Connors or out. You could do a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. Too much energy?
No. Sorry, somebody was asking if I'm getting paid by Corona. No, I am not getting paid by Corona.
I love Tim Brown.
Wish I might actually have to send them a message and ask them to pay me.
Good.
Yeah.
I DM'd Summit and Surly. They're 2 breweries in Minnesota that I enjoy a lot. And the reason why I'm holding a serious can is because Summit responded to my tweet. Grammar, technically we're in St. Paul. Well, we're not in Minneapolis. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not what I meant. So I'm like, thank you, smart ass kid, whoever's running this account. So now I'm rocking a Surly.
There we go. Love it.
Or a Coors.
I'm going to look it up. It might exist somewhere out here. So, you never know.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
I was on an airplane one time. Sun Country.
Don't talk bad. You're going to get blocked by them.
Yeah, right. They don't pay me shit.
As we always drink on that one.
Now, I do, and Eric Quagnas Martins, my co-host, likes to go all in on a guy now because it's fun. And you don't have to pay attention to anybody else that you picked in your player pool until the cut is made and your guys made it through the cut. So you're just sweating one guy. And if he's doing real hot and real good, then you can start opening the app and get a little excited and a little confident, like, well, I'm the smartest man alive. And if he sucks and he's bad, boom, move on to the next week. You only lost $20 because it's all in on $20 and $1 lineups. So then now there's a strategy to who you use when you go all in, because you could go all in on a 9K Sungjae Im, but that's a little more risky than flirting with the 9 or the 8K guy, because the 8K guy, when you go all in, could miss the cut and screw you. But a 5 of 6, a few 5 of 6s could save the day, because you're not wasting so much money playing because you want to go all in on the 10K, 9K guy, and you want to have that guy as like, I'm confident that guy's for sure going to win. How could he not win? It's Patrick Reed. I'm going all in. But it's like, yeah, but what if he does suck? Because it's totally possible. Then you're sinking $10,000 of your lineup. Versus if you go with like an 8K guy and you're all in, or even like a $9,200 Sungjae Im and he's bad. Let's say he's T36. You could still end up winning a GPP. Or you end up winning enough money back that you try again the next week and you've entertained yourself. You've had fun playing DraftKings because you've gone all in on one name and you're going to either love them or hate them. And that's part of the fun on Friday afternoons.
We were talking about it last week, from recapping the week before about the sweat. Everybody plays fantasy football, and that's like the main thing. Everybody knows that's the number one money. But it's a one-day event. You're playing the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games. But a golf event, you're sweating it for 4 days. And I was looking at my main. It was actually, I think it was the Masters that I was talking about. Like I was in the Millie Maker for the Masters, just one lineup, just because I had a free ticket. I wasn't spending the money. I had a free ticket into it, and I was in 20,000th place halfway through Saturday. By the end of Saturday, I was in 23,000th place. And then the sweat and the up and down and the flow of it, it's what makes it fun, fantasy golf, because it's a 4-day event. And I love that part of it.
Oh my God. Right. I've done some viral tweets about how this is better than NFL. I used to be an NFL fantasy junkie, and I've done the NBA life. I've done it all, and it's all come back. It always comes back to the fun of the DraftKings golf, where it's the maximum sweat, like you mentioned. It's the most fun. It's actually the most hard to predict. So I don't feel like, because I watch the most and I study the most, that I actually have an advantage. I used to think that. Like, I used to actually be like, oh God, I'm going to win. But then you're like, no, like, this shit is so impossible to predict, and anything could happen. And one stroke here, one missed here, one thing here, it could change the entire landscape of a week. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not worried about trying to be smart with, because people try to be smart with NFL too, and they feel stupid. Whereas in golf, anybody, I could hand my phone to my kid, 4-year-old, you could plug 6 golfers in, and I'm like, dude, you're leaving $500 off the table. Switch this guy out to the next name that's available. Boom, he clicks in that guy, 7,600 instead of 7,100. He's at the max. You can fucking win. You could win just as easily as me, spending hours studying, making models, looking at spreadsheets, and my kid smashing buttons. But you can't do that in NFL. And it's impossible to do that in the NBA. Like, I loved the NBA. That's where I first started at. Have you ever heard of the website Draft Street?
Yep.
Okay, so they were bought by DraftKings.
Okay.
So my buddy worked for Draft Street. My buddy, like, he says to me, he says, I'm the COO of Draft Street. And at the time, you're like, that's just made up. You just made whatever you just set up because you're cool. You're so cool, guy. You're like, I'm 24 or whatever at the time. I'm like, cool position, man. And so then I was like, Draft Street, what the hell is that? So this is like a long time ago, playing forever. Basically, we're coming down to the fact that, like, nobody knows anything. I used to just write articles for NBA. I used to do NBA. That was first where I started with NBA, going as hard as I could with NBA. And I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore because I have to just dedicate every second up till lock, and I have to sweat. And then as soon as lock happens, someone's injured, and I didn't know that, and no one told me, and then it's just so frustrating. And then you try, it's just like, that's so much harder than just doing the fun with the golf thing. So Yes, and that's why we love it. That's why we're doing this podcast right now in our
God,
garage.
basketball sucks. 100%.
Yes, it's impossible.
I love basketball. I'm a big Sixers. Hold on, we can switch hats again. We could go. I got a hat for every team here. I'm a big Sixers fan, but fantasy aspect of it, it's absolutely, for me, it's impossible to crack.
Yeah, I don't know why we went on that tangent, but we went on that tangent. We're having fun tonight. We're just doing random shit.
We are having fun. This is actually one of the funnest shows. No offense, Jason, you're fired. Chad's.
Well, I wanted to, you said they got the coachman on. I was like, oh God, now I got to step up again. Now, I will say nobody wants Bubba Watson or Justin Rose. Do you guys want those names?
I kind of like Bubba Watson this week. I don't know. I'll let Jason answer it, but I kind of like Bubba this week.
I like Bubba too. I like 3 or 4 cuts here, 2 top 4s, decent recent form, great tee to green. Obviously, I like Bubba this week. I don't know.
If he can average putt this week, Bubba can be a really good play this week. But he's got
not really a Bubba course, but I feel I don't know. I just have
2 top 4s.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I kind of, Bubba. I don't know if he needs to be on a bomber track. I think that was more the narrative of the old Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just needs to be motivated and actually kind of give a shit. I think I saw a little bit of that. I watched the interview that he did when they were asking him, he and Scheffler, how they got together last week. And he was like, we just fucking, basically we're forced to be together because we hate everyone else. So I think the personality, he has been depressed. He's got that issue with home life or what. I don't know what's going on with his psychology and God, what did he say? He needed a sleep coach or I don't know what he kept saying, some weird shit. You're like, bro, you're in your head. You got too much money. It's the truth. So then, I think that's changed. I think that's kind of over. And so I think he does want to win again. Now, I talk about guys that want to win again. You want to get guys that want to win, and they're motivated to put that ticket on their Wikipedia page, make sure their kids know that, hey, our dad wasn't away from the family every week because he's a failure at life. Just because I have money, I want money and be good. So Bubba could win again, and if low owned, that's interesting. And same with Rose, same kind of thing where maybe, I don't know, he was kind of disappointed. It was a little bit of a letdown, disappointment more or less that the Masters didn't work out for him, and kind of had his fun last week where he, I don't know how serious those guys take it. He and Stenson were together, but so, and then it's kind of like, oh, we're playing good. And it's kind of like you get back to playing golf as a kid and you get back to golf as fun. And that's what Bubba and Scheffler felt like they were doing. And maybe Rose did too. And so they come into this a little more free. Plus you talk about the fact that it's a low scoring course, which fits those two maybe. And it's a lead up to a major and they kind of want to test themselves. Maybe they mentally prepare for it. It's a dress rehearsal for a major. You have to believe these guys do this, where they just actually take it seriously and show up wanting to test themselves, people were asking me, do you want to take Jordan Spieth before the week of the Masters? And I was like, I don't know, but I kind of do. I think he wants to put himself into contention to get the sweats, to get the, did I fuck up? How do I perform when I'm sweating? And then, so by the time the major comes around, you can be like, remember that time back in Innisbrook when I was in contention and I fucked up doing this and I went into the water that one hole because I faded left because I leaned this way or whatever. So they're learning. So I think those two love to do that kind of stuff. So maybe they show up and care, or they mail it in because that's just as likely.
The 8K range is interesting though, because I feel like you're gonna have a chalk Kokrak, you're gonna have a chalk Charlie Hoffman. But then, we compare those two guys to Rose and Bubba, like we were just talking about. It's like, who's better player?
How are they any different or worse? How could they be worse than those two names?
Right, exactly. And it's like at half ownership, you're going to have Justin Rose and Bubba. At half the ownership is the other two guys. It's like, I'm almost tempted to go Bubba and Rose and guys that that can win. Like you said, Bubba, it depends on the week, depends on if he's motivated or not. But we know Rose is good, and Rose is good on tough courses. So, I don't know. I feel like I like both those guys this week.
Interesting. That's good.
But, we know about Rose and his my back. Oh, my God, my back. I can't do it anymore.
You're in third place. Injury issue. I cannot handle another withdrawal on one of my cards this year. I just can't handle it. I've had way more in half this season than I did all of last year. I can't take it anymore. I want nobody that can withdraw whatsoever.
Don't pick Kevin Na.
Yeah.
He's in the 8K range.
Right, he's in the 8K range, isn't he? Yeah, he's 8K exactly there. Yeah, exactly. No.
Nobody wants to play him either. He's the least owned.
All right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Then we're gonna lead into what we always do at the end of every show here, or towards the second half of every show, where we pick a lineup together. We take turns picking a lineup, and then we're forced to bet and put that lineup in. So we want you to help us make the picks. And then
for like a quarter.
Last week I did.
Contest selection. What contest is this? A single entry? Is this a multi-match?
Whatever contest you want to enter it in, you just have to enter it. Last week I did it in the free roll because it was the freaking Zurich, and I wasn't putting our lineup in anything but
that's a great way to tilt. Is you put your best lineup of the week in the free roll, and
dude, for as much success as we've had this year, we have not picked a joint lineup once this year.
We're due then.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, this is going in like a big. This is going in a big single entry. Let's do single entry, so we know. Now, there's a difference between single entry and mass entry. Like, how many entries is 150? Is it 20 lineups? Can you do just one? Can you do 3? That will change the strategy of who you pick and how you pivot and who you can you use chalk. Well, you can use chalk more in a single entry situation than you can in a giant milli maker. Now, I have again contest selection podcast out there. Go look for that. You can find out more information about it. But so should we just decide that this lineup that we're building together is a single entry? So that makes us kind of think like nobody, you can't just spray the board. And you've seen the guys again at the casino that you're like, this dude's winning so much money at roulette. He's got so many chips, and then you watch how he plays and he just fucking picks everything. You're like, dude, your girlfriend thinks you're amazing, but like you'd win no matter what. I've seen those people, and it makes no sense to me. Or like, God, I'm doing awesome. But yes, single bullet entry. Single
bullet entry. All right. And as the guest, you get to make the first pick on the lineup.
Well, Sung JM.
There we go. Let's see how
come on, we're all there, aren't we?
Yeah,
I wanted to do Reed, but yeah, I think we do M, so it gives you a chance to maybe one of you guys to pivot up at the top.
Yeah, well, I'll let Jason go. Jason likes the cheap guys. So I'm begging and hoping Jason goes cheap here so that I can go up top.
We didn't really talk about many cheap guys, but yeah,
Like, I don't want to keep you all night. We could go on for 2 more hours here and talk about everything.
We got to respect the audience too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go relatively cheap. I'm going to go Denny McCarthy, 7,500.
Denny McCarthy, 7,500. He is not on my list, but he's on our team now. So that puts me at 8,300. We got Sanjay M and McCarthy. All right. So, all right. Since he took a big name, I got to go with the big name. I would not be me without picking Patrick Reed.
All right. Good. Okay, good. Then we can start the way that I want. All right. Yes. I'm happy you did that. So,
all right. Patrick Reed, like I said, I love him. I mean, I never not play him. Never. So
that's what we call APPR. You always play Patrick Reed.
He's not on the dead to me list, the DTM. He's on the APP.
I love it. Okay, so you guys are with me on this whole thing. All right, now I'll take Sam Burns at $7,900. I know he's kind of a hot button name in the DFS industry. Somebody that he, was chalk to win a tournament a few weeks back when everybody was on him, and then he failed miserably. So people are not into that. But at 7,900, I liked what I saw with Billy Horschel. I'm a big Billy Horschel fan. I put the house on these two guys last week, Horschel and Burns, and just kind of because it was a good number, 25-1, and it was a Bermuda course or whatever, and that's what Bermuda Burns likes. So we're going to go Bermuda Burns at $7,900. Let's do it.
I like it.
I love it. All right, Jason, you're up. We're at 75.5 left.
So I'm going to have to go value. I'm going to go value for you.
You are always Mr. Value.
That's right. I'm going to go with. I've never said this on the podcast before.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go with Killa Keith Mitchell.
Oh, my.
Okay. Keith Mitchell. I was like, Killa. Who's Killa? I'm like, I don't know this guy's name here.
I don't know if that's
Killa
really
Keith.
Not, but it is now. I want to save you some money. So,
listen. I
Killa Keith's going to be popular, though. Let's review the team again. Let's see how much ownership
we're still down to. We still have one spot left to pick here.
Right. Let's hear what we got.
But we've got Sung JM and Patrick Reed. They're the 2 top end guys. We got McCarthy. we got Sam Burns, and we got Mitchell.
I don't think we're too chalky. You can pick whoever you want.
What's the ownership of Mitchell?
I almost want to forego my pick and let you make the pick. You know what I mean?
Now, Mitchell is coming in at like 5, 6, 7%, but I think he's going to be more than that. I've heard his name a couple more times than I've been excited about. So we'll have to again check in tomorrow morning back on the YouTube.
So we were gonna, we got 8,100 left, and so the first name as I was scrolling down, we just blasted him and made fun of him was Kevin Na, and I was like, no, we're not taking Kevin Na here, no way.
You know what you need to take?
Who?
Max Homa, right?
Yeah, yes. I mean, Max Homa's not on the dead to me list. He's on the almost dead to me list.
Okay, so you could take Gooch then.
Gooch was the name I was looking at. Homa. So a little backstory for you. The event he won, a month or so ago.
Genesis, yeah.
Yeah, I had him. He was my outright winner from before the tournament. Okay.
Wow.
Had a bet on him.
What was it, 80-1 or 60-1?
I forget what it was.
70, I think, yeah.
I had the bet. He hit the ball up to the tree on the first playoff hole.
Oh, yeah.
And I hedged my bet. I took all my
money.
No,
you didn't.
I did.
No.
It was like 30
Well, actually, who was he playing against? Because they were right in it. Yeah.
It was almost it was just under half my money that I could have won, I took. I'm like, nah, he hit it up against the tree. This is, so
that's on the perils of betting live Sundays.
Yeah, I have this name, fifth place Finau. And fifth place Finau, when I bet him, finishes in fifth place. When I bet against him, he's going to win, I figured, since I was going against him. So I cashed out.
Yeah, it makes sense. At least you won. Yeah. So
fifth place Finau kills me every time. Anywhere, we do.
Okay, so then, but we still like Homa. He came through for you, and he at least cashed you that bet.
Some money,
Now, what would make you pick Gooch over Homa? Now, I know Gooch was decent last week, and Homa is the same thing. I don't really take that into too much consideration.
I had information on Gooch, but I can't find it now. I know the announcers last week mentioned Gooch, so. No,
Nick Faldo, I think.
Who do you think's going to win? I feel like Homa's got a way better chance to win.
No, I'm looking at it. He's only played it once, so you can't go course history with either Homa or Gooch because they both only played once and they both finished in 100th place. So you can't go there.
I want to get your guys' thoughts on Keegan Bradley. I see everybody's betting Keegan this week. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I want to see what
now I did one time. I won a GPP, guys. Fucking quarter arcade. Yes.
Hey, that covered you for like the rest of the year then.
It was $420 or something, $420. I don't know. It was $400 off of 25 cents at the time. It was like the 1 week that they didn't pay $500. They paid $400. So it's like shit. But at the same time, that dude was on the roster, and you know what? This is the dude that can flame or burn. So now when you're playing a quarter arcade GPP, these are the names you want, is the ones that can get you to the tippity tip top of the leaderboard or can crash and burn you, because what are you trying to do? You're trying to min cash your shit, trying to win $3 off of $2 off of a quarter. No, you're trying to win it all. You want the flames. Maybe we should go leave a little money off the table, fly, close to the sun. Actually, though, the problem is that we're not alone. You want Keegan Bradley when no one wants Keegan Bradley, and he is one of the more chalky names in that 7K range. You got Keegan, 12%, Lucas Glover, same thing. Oh, God. And we already used Denny, and people like Denny, dig it in the Denny dirt. They like Doug Gim. They like Lanto Griffin. So maybe we can't use him. I think we go with either Gooch or Homa.
I already put Homa on the list. You've convinced me. I've stayed away from Homa because I kind of depressed over my bet with Homa there, but Homa's played really good golf this year, so we'll roll with it with Homa there. We'll take your advice here, but this is our lineup. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fire.
It's a solid lineup. It looks like a lineup I would have built on my own without even you guys talking to me.
It's a lineup where I always kind of jot down notes and I try to build lineups before I submit any lineups, and I just write them down. I let them marinate a little bit, and I have almost every single one of these names in at least one of my test lineups that I've been putting together.
Oh, good.
So, and
you were using Keith Mitchell.
I have him listed in one lineup, and I think it was more because of a money issue. I got down to the end, and I needed someone in that low price range.
Yeah, there's a few to choose from at 7,000.
Mm-hmm.
Had you guys ever played the jock market?
I never have, no, but I've heard about it.
Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so these kind of like fringe names that we're not sure we want, or like are more top 20 or top, just make the cut bets. Those are the teams, or those are the names.
I'm making that shirt,
I like
by
to
the way.
use. What's that?
No, someone asked me to make a 5th place female shirt. So,
Top 5 female. But yeah, no, the Jock Market.
It's getting posted on our website tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, this guy that at INCTYC, tip your cap. He made these hats. He's a screen printer, so you can hit him up on Twitter.
Okay.
This guy. Glover, 12%. I just looked that up for you. Tip your cap. But anyway, what was I saying? I don't even remember what was I saying. So.
The 7K range you were talking about, or the 7,000. The price, the good option.
Yeah, you just buy them on Jock Market, because what happens is you could buy these names for like $3 or $4. This is how it works. It's real dollars. Like you really put $3 on this dude, or you buy one share of this guy for $3. If he sucks dick, he's the worst fucking golfer on planet Earth. He goes to $1, so you lose $2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but we're confident with the name we buy for $3.50. That's gonna go to the top 20. It's gonna make the cut. It's gonna make $4, $5. Up to $12, $15 for this $3.50 investment. Where if you're into the Dogecoin, if you're into the cryptocurrencies, dude, this is kind of like that, because you just buy it on a Wednesday night with the Joe Idoni podcast, Rick Run Good on the Rick Run Good YouTube channel. You could do that, and then you just sign up for this app. Use the promo code PL20 for $20 after first deposit. Then go into this app, buy these names, $3, cash out. Let's say this dude goes on a birdie streak, but he sucks. It's all putter, and he's gonna just crash and burn. Well, you just sell them high. Nobody knows about the in-game stats. Get on rickrungood.com, free live leaderboard. You can see that this is all putter. Sell that dude off Thursday's good putting round, because that's not going to be sustainable. This is this Jock Market app. I'm making money doing that. It's so much easier than fucking DraftKings. Making money on DraftKings is impossible. That's actual roulette. This is like smart use of brains. Like, you just really know, like $3 for this guy. These guys don't know this dude. Wyndham Clark's decent. Like, he could really actually top 10, or Andrew Putnam could top 10. These names that are like, nobody fucking knows those names. They just go at the top. They pay $12 for the best golfers, and then the best golfers miss the cut just as much as the regular guy at $3. And those guys at $12 are losing $10, $11 each. And it's like, all we're losing is $1 or $2. So all you do 10 of those $3 names, get 2 of them in the top 10. You're cashing bigly.
So on Jock Market, it's week by week then? Like you're buying stock for just that week?
Buy it Wednesday night. So you have to be in this IPO. That's why the Joe Idoni show with Rick Run Good is all up to this 8 o'clock lock. Well, 9 o'clock your time, I think. Eastern, 9 Eastern. And then it's live. Then it goes to live trading. But like every week right before lock, you could find these people that there's so much going on inside. There's 150 golfers. Like you cannot keep up, and it's all on the app. So it's not like a guy can computerize a spreadsheet and robot this thing. So it's hard to do. So then you're like, oh my God, it's frantic. And this is like 10 notifications, like right up until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern. And then you're just like, oh God, now I have 10 names where I bought 10 shares of each name. So you're like $300 in. You could by far and away, you're not going to lose your money. If you put $300 in DraftKings, you could easily lose all 300, 100%. It's gone.
Yeah.
That could easily happen. This Jock Market thing, I really truly think you cannot, if you are making informed decisions like we are doing, you can't lose all 300. It's almost impossible. You'd have to be completely wrong about. But you watch golf. So, and you're only spending 300. So if you really are, it's just a week from hell, you lose $300. But it could be a really good week. And this has happened to me a bunch where I've literally withdrawn $1,000.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, never talked about it.
Jock Market, you should hit this
I'm gonna look into it.
They could sponsor your pod. They sponsor the Preferred Lines podcast. Not I'm genuinely telling you this because it's a cool app and you can make money at it versus it's just plug. So yeah, try it out.
I know what
tomorrow night.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing tomorrow night before my Eagles podcast. I'm spending my whole entire time not prepping for the Eagles podcast or the draft. I'm going to be focused on Jock Market.
No, I don't know. But anyway, you guys have been a pleasure to talk to. Thanks for letting me take over the podcast.
This has been super fun. This is great. So real quick, plug your shows, the times that they're on. I don't have your YouTube link on.
No, that's
here.
fine. I'm Fantasy Golf Pod, FGP, Fantasy Golf Pod, that you could find on Twitter at Fantasy Golf Pod. We have a YouTube channel, and I go live on that YouTube channel Monday and Wednesday mornings. Typically, as soon as DraftKings pricing comes out on Mondays, I do a first reaction pod to that. I look at the pricing. Haven't even looked at it. Haven't studied anything. Open it and spew words. Say them out loud. Sometimes I say bad things. Sometimes I say good things. Then Wednesday, back to you again on Wednesday morning on the same YouTube, Fantasy Golf Pod YouTube channel, talking about ownership projections. So I get those at fansharesports.com. But in between all that, I talked to my friend Joe Idoni on the Preferred Lines podcast on Monday nights. That's live on the internet. All the YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and all that shit. Then it's again on iTunes. We're on iTunes. You can find us there. And I'm tweeting, Edina Realty. I'm a realtor in the state of Minnesota. Buy a house. Sell a house.
Love it. Dude, thanks so much.
Thanks,
This has been a blast and all. So
hey,
again,
my wife doesn't want me to do this every week, but I'd love to do this every week with you guys.
We're here every Tuesday night live, 9 p.m. Yeah, Fairway to Heaven on the All About the Birds Network. Hey, Jason,
great pod name.
I'll see you in 8 days. You know what I mean, in Florida. And yeah, thanks so much, Chad, for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. If the Eagles ever have to beat Minnesota again, I'll make sure to get you on our Eagles podcast.
Right, let's talk some football this summer or this fall, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody, have a great night. Again, thank you for tuning in. Fairway to Heaven on the All About the Birds Network. We'll see you tomorrow night for our Eagles draft show. Everybody, have a great night.